Maplewood was a town where autumn painted the streets in fiery shades of orange and red, where children played on sidewalks without fear, and everyone knew each other's routines. In this small town, the Harper family lived in a modest two-story house on Willow Street. Robert Harper, a man in his late 40s, had always prioritized security and stability. His wife had passed away when Helen was just 8, leaving Robert to raise his daughter alone. From an early age, Helen had been fiercely independent, curious about the world, and driven in everything she did. Her hazel eyes seemed to hold an old soul's wisdom, yet beneath her calm demeanor was the restless heart of a teenager craving freedom and adventure. Helen's days were a mix of school, art, and quiet exploration. She loved painting the small corners of Maplewood, the oak trees by the town park, the flowing river at the edge of town, and the way sunlight dappled through her bedroom window. She often stayed up late at night sketching, the pages of her notebook filled with intricate designs, colors blending into stories only she could see. Her father, while strict, had always admired her creativity and encouraged her to pursue her artistic passions. Life in Maplewood had always felt predictable, almost safe, until the day Robert Harper met Leonard Whitman. Leonard was a man in his 60s, well respected in the town for his philanthropic work and sharp business acumen. Despite his age, he had an approachable warmth, a smile that suggested he genuinely cared about others. Robert's first encounter with Leonard had been at a town meeting where Leonard offered to fund the renovation of the local library. Robert, impressed by his generosity and influence, invited Leonard over for tea at the Harper residence. Helen, then 16, was skeptical when she first heard about Leonard's visit. She had seen him once at the town meeting and found his presence commanding but not threatening. On the day of the visit, she greeted him politely, curiosity dancing in her eyes. Leonard's deep voice and calm demeanor filled the room, and while he was older, there was an unspoken kindness in his gestures. Robert spoke highly of Leonard, emphasizing his stability, wisdom, and integrity. A week later, Helen's world shifted. She overheard her father talking to a close friend, Mrs. Caldwell, about her future. "I've decided," Robert said with conviction, "that Helen should marry Leonard. He's a good man, financially secure, and can provide her with a stable life." Helen froze, the words echoing in her mind. The idea of marrying a man 4 times her age was inconceivable. Panic rose within her, but she knew protesting her father's decisions had always been difficult. Robert was unyielding, and his sense of duty to protect her future was absolute. Over the next few days, Helen wrestled with a whirlwind of emotions. Anger, confusion, fear, and resentment mingled with a reluctant curiosity about Leonard. She watched her father make preparations, writing letters of invitation, consulting with the local church, and speaking with town members. Everyone seemed aware of the unusual arrangement, and whispers followed her wherever she went. At school, friends offered mixed reactions, some expressed shock, others caution, but Helen felt increasingly isolated. One afternoon, unable to contain her anxiety, Helen confronted Leonard in the Harper family garden. He was tending to the roses, their vibrant reds and yellows contrasting with the crisp autumn air. "Mr. Whitman," Helen began, her voice trembling slightly, I don't understand why my father thinks this is right." "Why me? Why now?" Leonard paused, placing his hands on the pruning shears. He looked at her steadily, acknowledging her concerns. "Helen, I respect your feelings. Your father approached me because he believes I can provide stability, not because I want to take away your freedom. I would never want you to be unhappy." Helen was taken aback. Leonard's response was unexpected. Unlike her father, he seemed to value her perspective. A part of her wondered if there could be a way to navigate this situation without losing herself. Over time, she began to see that Leonard, though older, genuinely cared about her well-being. He encouraged her artistic talents, advised her on studies, and spoke to her as an equal, never dismissing her ideas. Weeks turned into months. Helen's initial resistance softened as she discovered Leonard's mentorship was more than just guidance, it was a partnership. He admired her curiosity, her determination, and her talent. She, in turn, respected his wisdom, his patience, and the integrity he displayed in every aspect of life. Conversations that once felt formal now became natural. Helen shared sketches, discussed books she loved, and even sought Leonard's advice on challenges she faced at school. Yet, it wasn't an easy journey. Helen faced moments of doubt and frustration. She sometimes questioned whether she had any real choice in her life. There were nights she stayed awake, thinking about a world outside Maplewood, imagining possibilities her father's decision might limit. But Leonard never pushed her, and slowly, Helen realized that strength lay not in rebellion but in understanding and navigating difficult circumstances. As the wedding day approached, the town was abuzz. Invitations were delivered, flowers were arranged, and the small church on Main Street was prepared for the ceremony. Helen experienced a mix of apprehension and acceptance. She decided to focus on the elements of her life she could control: her painting, her studies, and her relationship with Leonard. On the morning of the wedding, Helen stood by her bedroom window, looking out at Maplewood. The leaves swirled in the crisp air, carrying the scent of autumn and change. Leonard arrived to escort her to the church, and despite the age gap, there was a comforting calmness in his presence. Friends and family gathered, some whispering, others offering smiles and congratulations. Helen felt a strange blend of nervousness and quiet determination. She had chosen to embrace this moment as an opportunity for growth rather than confinement. The ceremony was dignified, simple, and heartfelt. Leonard spoke with warmth, and Helen responded with grace, understanding that this union, unconventional as it was, had the potential for mutual respect and learning. After the ceremony, the Harper family celebrated quietly at home. There was laughter, stories, and moments of genuine connection, proving that even unexpected arrangements could foster unity. Life after the wedding brought new routines and challenges. Helen and Leonard settled into a rhythm that balanced her independence with family responsibilities. Leonard encouraged her to pursue her art, enrolling her in advanced classes, connecting her with gallery owners, and attending local exhibitions to support her work. Helen found joy in this mentorship, seeing her paintings admired and purchased, her talents recognized by a wider community. Over time, Helen's relationship with Leonard deepened, not romantically in a conventional sense, but as a partnership founded on trust, respect, and shared experiences. She learned to navigate the adult world with guidance, understanding the nuances of responsibility, communication, and compromise. Leonard, in turn, gained renewed purpose and fulfillment in helping a young talent grow, appreciating her unique perspective and creative mind. The town of Maplewood, initially skeptical, came to respect the Harper family's decision. Helen's growth and accomplishments became a testament to the strength of character and resilience in navigating life's challenges. She balanced school, art, family duties, and social life, becoming a role model for other teenagers in town. Years passed, and Helen blossomed into a confident, accomplished young woman. Her artwork was featured in regional galleries, and she became known not only for her talent but for her maturity, kindness, and integrity. Leonard remained a guiding presence, a steady force that had helped her navigate early uncertainties with wisdom and care. Helen's story, though born from an unconventional circumstance, became an example of adaptability, resilience, and mutual respect. She had learned that life often brings unexpected paths, but with understanding, communication, and courage, those paths could lead to growth, independence, and fulfillment. The Harper family remained a respected pillar of the community, and Helen's journey inspired others to value empathy, personal development, and the power of facing life's challenges with grace. In the end, Helen Harper's life in Maplewood was not defined by the age of her husband or the unconventional nature of her marriage, but by her ability to rise above fear and uncertainty. She became a young woman who understood that respect, kindness, and resilience were far more important than societal expectations. Leonard Whitman, once a figure of authority and stability, had become a mentor, a guide, and a friend. Together, they navigated life with dignity, demonstrating that even unconventional beginnings could lead to meaningful, inspiring outcomes. Helen continued to paint, dream, and grow, knowing that her choices, her mindset, and her perseverance would shape her future more than any arrangement ever could. Maplewood witnessed her journey, and in the small town, her story became a quiet legend of maturity, wisdom, and the courage to embrace life's unexpected turns.